Hello YouTube and welcome to the behind the scenes video of Ringo. And if you don't know what Ringo is, well, it's a short film that I made and released here on my channel on YouTube. If you haven't seen Ringo and you want to do so before watching this, you can click on this thumbnail just here. Ringo is the story of Sam, a man in his early 30s and a recent new father, who, after hearing about the death of his estranged stepfather, has to return back to his hometown 16 years after running away to settle his stepfather's estate. On Sam's return, he is reunited with his long-lost imaginary childhood friend called Ringo, who in Sam's long absence has fallen a little bit off the rails. The film focuses on Sam and Ringo reconciling their relationship and coming to terms with the next phases of their lives. In this behind the scenes video, what I wanted to do was just show you guys a little bit of the reasons why we made Ringo, as well as show you some of the processes that took place in pre-production, production and post-production. So let's crack on and talk about pre-production. The idea of Ringo just popped into my head. I like the idea of an adult man getting back in touch with his imaginary childhood friend. First things I did was I wrote a vomit draft of the script, which is basically where I got everything down on paper and then sent it out to a few people to see what they thought of the initial concept. Once I got initial feedback, I then refined the script to sort of like second, third draft. I then sent it out to my first choice actors to see if they'd be interested. And luckily for me, they both said yes. So Danny Easton played the part of Sam and Sam Swan played the part of Ringo. So I was over the moon that those guys wanted to be part of the film, because really I kind of wrote the script with those guys in mind. Once Danny and Sam were on board, we then started a 4-week rehearsal process, which started off less as a rehearsal process, but actually more of a writing process. We sat down, the three of us, discussed the ideas, the themes, the narrative, the structure, everything about the film at length. After each session, I would then go away and rewrite the script accordingly with their feedback. 10 drafts we got to, which was the script we worked with to film. Luckily as well, I got my first choice director of photography, Edgar Dabrowski, who I'd worked with a few times, who agreed to do the film with me. And that was it. We kind of just started crewing up and we got our hands on an amazing collection of people to help bring the idea and the script to life. So I was very thankful to get a really great crew on board for this one. In terms of locations for the film, well, the idea of Ringo, everything was pictured in my head of basically being in the places where I grew up as a child. Therefore, besides the stuff in the flat in London where I'm standing now, everything else was filmed in my hometown of Leicester. So most of the locations in the film are actually places that are from my childhood. For example, the stepfather's house is my granddad's house. The woods they play in is just up the road from my house, as well as the train tracks is in my local village where I used to walk as a child. So all the locations I knew quite clearly because I wrote the film around those already pre-existing locations in my head. One of the final processes of pre-production was deciding what camera to use for the shoot. We decided that we wanted to go with the Sony A7S. One thing I'm quite passionate about is DSLR videography, is the fact that how lightweight you can go now. You don't need huge bulking cameras, 4K cameras. You can do a lot with DSLR cameras. So with the Sony A7S, we had a really lightweight camera with a full frame sensor inside, which also had the ability to shoot in incredibly low light conditions. Shooting in the middle of winter, we didn't have a lot of daylight, so we thought, well, we have a camera that you can really crank up the ISO. It allows us more time. And that led us on to think, well, what if we made the entire film without using a single light? And we decided that for the sake of the budget, as well as time, as well as the visual aesthetics of the film, we decided not to. So this entire film was made not using a single light. And I was blown away with kind of the final products of the film, and something I'm very proud of that we achieved, because it just looks really cool, for bearing in mind we didn't use one single sort of stage studio light. We used lamps and practical lights that are in the sets and stuff, but for the most part it was just the daylight and what we could find around. So with everything in place in pre-production, we then moved in to production. We started filming Ringo on the 12th of December and it was a 5-day shoot. The first day we spent in London, where we filmed all of the stuff in Sam and Laura's apartment, which is where I'm standing right now. And for the remaining 4 days, we filmed up in the Midlands in Leicestershire. In terms of the production, it went very well. The shoot went extremely smoothly. We didn't have any major disasters or hiccups. We had a lot of time in the filming process. Once again, having no lights and having a lightweight crew meant logistically, we freed up a lot of time to spend more time on the storytelling, actually, practicing the scenes and getting the action right and getting the actors' performances just right.
Why do you always do?
Yeah.
Why do you use through the window?
You know there's a door.
You're the most clumsy person I know. Why do you use the window?
And Danny, when your entrance, far more panicked.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how quick to walk.
I think we're yeah. Do a hammy 50%. Keep your eyes like kind of on the ground or like looking over that way. And you kind of not really notice it because it is a little bit like you don't really notice it at the minute.
Last scene, eh?
Last scene, if we can get it. Right now we've got no permissions. We are running high risk. But hey, no one said the revolution was A, going to be easy, B, was going to be full of permissions. It's gone exceedingly well, to be honest with you. We had the one problem at the train tracks and that was pretty much it for the whole shoot. We've not had any nightmares. It's turned out exactly the way I wanted. It makes me actually believe in this kind of filmmaking, how easy it's been. Yeah, you know, we've not used any lights, but I just think generally having such a small crew and being flexible has allowed us to tell a better story. By having such a smooth shoot, it meant that we freed up a lot of time and ultimately have a little bit more fun. Must be in here, it's locked! This is the secret drawer! I found it, Papa!
I mean, every spice pirate.
Go from there, keep rolling!
Every spice. A piggy's back. Is that what you call it here? Fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the camera forgot to grow down.
You want it back? Okay.
Okay, have you looked in the fruit bowl?
As you wound for the children of the revolution, know you
That's Danny in the background beatboxing.
Wow.
How is the shoot going?
It's going well, If we nail today, then we've got it. But yes, 4 good days so far. Loads of wet willies. What's that? Rolling. Okay, we've got enough B-roll now. Okay,
Enough of
here we
this.
go. Once we wrapped Ringo, I then went straight into the post-production process. I edited the film myself over the course of 2.5 weeks. Once I got the film to a place where I was really happy, I then showed it to 3 separate tester audiences. These were people who didn't work on the film, didn't know anything about the storyline, and could offer neutral, unbiased feedback to the film. With their notes, I then found common threads to what their feedback was and was able to make minor changes and tweaks to the story and the structure and the editing timeline to get the film much tighter and to a place where I was really happy after someone had seen it besides myself. So once the film was picture locked, I then handed it over to 4 separate individuals, all of whom could work on the film in their own departments at the same time to save time. We had someone working on VFX, sound design, music, and obviously the grade of the film. After about 4 weeks, all of these separate elements were then completed and I was able to take them and put them back on the timeline and get the film basically completed. I then added the credits to the film, I cut a trailer, and then the film was ready for release. I released the film on the 27th of February at 3 PM UK time on YouTube. A lot of people have asked why we released Ringo on YouTube and not submitted it to film festivals. I guess the answer to that is really, with Ringo, what I wanted to do was demonstrate the power of YouTube and online video. You see, for me, I passionately believe in online video being a way of challenging the old way of the media industry. We made Ringo for $2.5 with a lightweight crew, a very talented lightweight crew and cast with lightweight gear. We created a 27-minute short film and released it instantly online with the potential of global distribution. No longer do we need to go down the traditional elitist routes of begging for funding, going through production companies to get scripts approved, to get rewritten, to be then shown at a time on a TV station with adverts alongside it. YouTube can eliminate all that quite easily. Yes, there's still advertisement, but not in the same way that you have on traditional media. YouTube, I think, also is in this kind of state of flux at the moment. The most popular YouTube stuff is stuff that's aimed primarily at a younger audience, the under sort of 17-year-old market, which is fine. I've got no problem with that, and it's made YouTube what it is today. However, I still feel that YouTube shouldn't be synonymous with that kind of content. With Ringo and the other short films and other filmmakers who are out there on YouTube land, is evolving the platform to go to a further place, to show the world that actually YouTube can be the home for all kinds of content, whether it's short films or makeup tutorials or funny cat videos, but also, political documentaries or cookery shows or anything out there. It really has that power to sort of revolutionize the way we consume content and really kind of get the traditional media to pay attention to. So that's why I released Ringo on YouTube, was to really make a case that we are living in changing times, and YouTube can be the home for content, you know, for short films and potentially feature films as well, that hasn't gone through the traditional media route. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. That's the rant over. I thank everyone out there who has watched Ringo. It seems like it's been well received, and ultimately it's you guys out there that I'm sharing it with, primarily you guys who have subscribed to this channel. So thank you very much for watching it. Tweet me if you have any questions about Ringo, at Jack vs Life, and you can follow me on Instagram as well, at Jack vs Life. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, peace out, stay frosty, love you all.